this morning because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports, and even entertainment. Join us weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
It's a beautiful day, of course, and we welcome you to VOP this morning. Broadcasting from YouTube, that's Voice of the People Television up on YouTube, and you can also follow us on other social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. A Thursday morning, the 22nd day in the month of February, and we say, welcome. I'm Moses Humphrey. Welcome once again.
Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the show.
David Edwin is my name. It's a beautiful, well, would I say rainy morning? But then
yeah, it's drizzling.
It's a beautiful morning, and we bid you welcome this amazing Thursday morning. And we sure hope that you're going to stick with us and enjoy every single part of the program this morning, the best way we can sell it. So.
And I was just asking Fina just before we came on live what the exchange rate is right now, Naira to dollar.
Yesterday we had it was 1,730. That was during the early hours of yesterday.
My goodness.
And as it is now, it's like if I say they dance, they go another.
And then on the lighter note, if I say dollar will first was reach 2025.
No, they go hold up. We got solar for rich. No go rich.
There was this video that trended on X some days back where a young man put a pound, on the floor, and then started counting the equivalent in Naira, and the pound was just there, round, a coin just there, and then the equivalent in Naira rose to about this height. It was oh well, that's the situation of things currently. But we do hope it gets better.
Yeah, we do.
We do hope it gets better.
Very
All right, so let's let you into what we'll be talking about today.
Oh yes, armed police, EFCC orders storm some parts of the country and arrest Bureau de Change operators.
All right, and FG set to restart direct cash transfer to 15 million households.
And these are the stories on our radar this morning. But we also encourage you to just go to the YouTube and click on the like button, subscribe to our page. It is at Voice of the People TV and other social media platforms. We had VOP TV Live. Okay, just click.
Don't forget to comment. Let us know what you think about the stories we're sharing. All right, we'd like to hear from you.
Exactly.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be delving into the papers. Stay with us.
You're welcome back. It's still VOP this morning on VOP TV. And I also wanted to know that with us this morning in the studio, we have Mr. Sheson Okonade. He's a chartered accountant and also a chartered tax professional and a chartered transport administrator. Good morning to you, Mr. Sheson.
Good morning and good morning to everyone.
Good morning to you.
You're welcome.
And to all our viewers, a great Thursday morning.
Okay. And now we have to move straight down to the newspaper review. Let's know what the dailies, the national dailies, are actually talking about today. Then after that, remember I told you about the topics I'll have to discuss today, but I just wanted to know that we have to look at the papers first. So I don't know if...
All right, let's get on with the Vanguard newspaper, where the banner headline reads, Hardship. DSS NLC in face-off over planned protests. Okay, that's the banner headline of the Vanguard newspaper. Also, you find above the nameplates there, CBN reverses self, raises custom duty rate to 1,605.82 naira to a dollar. Is that some good news? Well, let's see how that goes. I will continue. Still above the nameplate, Edo 2024. National Working Committee drops Uzodinma appoints Otu to conclude primaries today and says, also there it says Tinubu not interested in zoning Oshomole. Anxiety as 10 aspirants fight for PDP tickets today. All right, still above the nameplate there, you find Nigerians should give Tinubu more time. Who's coming to say this? Yakubu Gowon. Above the nameplate also you find there, police arrest LP's national chairman, Abure Agboloy, in Benin City. Okay, there's a pictorial there where you find President Ahmed Bola Tinubu and former President Yakubu Gowon in a sit-down conversation there, just a pictorial. But by the side of that pictorial, you find another headline there. Apapa gridlock, businesses lose 100 billion naira monthly as petrol tankers, containers occupy roads. Also, you find there Emefiele accuses Akpabio of defamation, demands 25 billion naira. Oh yes, I did not read the sub-rider of that banner headline that states hardship DSS NLC in face-off over planned protest. Now the banner headline there says, shelve your protest. DSS tells organized labor, adds some elements planning violence. Face your job. You can't stop us. NLC dares DSS. JAF takes on DSS. Reaffirms support for NLC. Also, you find there no constitutional safeguard will stop state governors from hijacking state police for political ends. State police will destroy local democracy in Nigeria. That's like an editorial from Olu Fashion there, right there on the front page of Vanguard newspaper. Also, you find there AFCON final, Econ faults Picero's tactics. Also, you find there IMF sees Naira depreciating by 35% to 2,081 Naira to a dollar in official market. That's about it for the headlines right here. Okay, there's also another pictorial, Abure's arrest. Down there you find it there, National Chairman of Labour Party, Mr. Julius Abure, being arrested by security operatives in Benin City, Edo State yesterday. All of these and more you will find inside the Vanguard newspaper. So that's about it on the front page, what the Vanguard is saying. Mr. Sisson, at this point, I saw you trying to react somehow when I was reading some of it. Which of it catches your fancy?
Well, first and foremost, I think the banner headline, it's a story to discuss, and DSL's NLC in face-off over planned strike. You see, when you have intelligence gathering or information where you are being advised, I've said this, I've not worked with DSS, and neither have I had an heads up. I think 2-3 days ago, when we were discussing this on another station, I made it point blank to say this is not the best time to organize protest by NLC. If individuals are actually doing that, it's much more. Reason being that, as we speak, there is hunger in the land, and you cannot determine the action of an hungry man. You can only envisage even a gentleman when he's hungry. I will give you a practical example of an hungry man at home, and I know Fina will bear me witness with this. You dare not step on his toes. At that point in time, anything can happen. It will just be a sorry story after the action has been. So it's not about NLC telling everybody that we want to protest. As a matter of fact, the failures we're getting is that NLC are enjoying the benefit of this thing because they are part and parcel of those that actually formulate policies. And they work with the government. They are government officials. They are not entrepreneurs like you and I. They are not businessmen like you and I. Laborers are more of the government. And the policy created by some of their bosses to be implemented by them are actually the one creating hardship for the people. So what actually are you saying? They can claim that they are facing the hardship we're doing, but not as much as what you saw when you read the news of CBN increasing the custom duty to 1,600 and something per dollar.
Yeah.
So you can imagine an average businessman, as at 2 days ago, it was about 1,500 and something for you to wake up this morning and you're earning 1,600. So every of your plan to bring in goods, because we are not producing anything here, is actually defeated. And that same thing is what you're going to bring and sell to an average citizen. I would just say that as we speak, we seem to be in a very confused state, so that NLC will not blacklist themselves. And this might be the final stake to finally bury them, because most people don't longer have confidence in them. And I think TUC is wise enough to say we are staying clear. NLC is taking the bold. So when you see an house divided against itself, you watch it. But I will categorically say this is not the best time for NLC to spear the protest.
When do you think
If
is the best
individual.
time? What would be the best time? Because
See,
people are suffering, and Nigerians are crying over the hardship.
What the government will hold on to is that if anything should go out of space, you have someone to hold responsible. You know, when we had SARS, there was no one to actually be held responsible to say it was the masses. But here, if they should go out with this, thinking they want to salvage or speak on behalf of the masses, it's a no for us. Because we keep saying it, NLC, TUC are not fighting for the masses. They are fighting for very fractional section of the country. An average businessman is not finding it.
The opinion that a fight for that, little percentage will trickle down to the rest of the people. I mean, if the government
It won't, Moses.
if the government brings out a policy to say, okay, this is where it's pegging the minimum wage. Now, companies may not be able to achieve that, but at least they'll get close to it, which will also increase the earning power of the regular.
The first question we need to ask, Moses, the current minimum wage that we are actually stipulated to have few years back, how many of the state government are fulfilling it? That's where we need to start from.
Issue that they need
So,
to address.
those are areas we expect them to. You see, there are other things before we got to this particular area, we have actually always been addressing NLC. If we are asking us to go on strike for the failure on the part of them fixing our refinery, on the part of this medical tourism, and I said, how will NLC come out to challenge the elite and the political class of having health tourism when even the president of NLC, while he had an attack in Imo, had to travel out of the country? Are you leading by example? And you want me, a business owner, to come out and follow someone who is not leading by example? So we are saying that it is because some of the policy being formulated by the government are carried out by the civil servants. And a lot of them are the ones frustrating even the process themselves because of greed and corruption.
So on the part of an average businessman, I doubt. A lot of people, I can tell you, your cleaner in this office is earning more than 30,000. So no average businessman is actually on that pay rise of 30. And don't forget, maybe for organizations like this, a lot of businesses are actually doing staggering work. Maybe 2 days off, 3 days on.
Yeah.
Just to make sure to absorb the problem and the challenges that the country is facing. But an average, even before now, most civil servants, do they go to work every day? But they get their pay. So on the part of an average businessman, we are not aligned with NLC. And we are saying that you can go on strike. Nobody is actually disputing that fact. But prepare that that might be hijacked. Because an average people on the street is hungry. And an hungry man is an angry man.
Now, we can actually stay on this paper for the next 1 hour because there are a lot of headlines here that I find exciting.
Yeah.
But people have protested in other parts of the country, protesting the hunger in the land, and it wasn't hijacked.
Because it is people and not NLC. The issue here is that what exactly has NLC done to checkmate the elites that we're talking about? For 8 years, the last administration promised the citizens that they understand the problem, that if they are not solving anything, two cardinal points, insecurity and fixing our refinery. Moses, Fina, David, here we are. Is any of the refinery functional? The answer is no. But for 8 years, NLC has actually personal view, romancing the so-called government and making excuses for them. Here we are today. The average businessman will not yield today. We can ask our staff, because of security, to stay back at home, but not in support to say we are actually coming out to support what they're doing. Because we, average businessmen as we speak, are not finding it interesting. And the people we are holding responsible are, when you say government, it's not about the leaders alone, about those that are going to implement the policies of the government, who are the civil servants.
Okay. All right. Now let's take a little look at businesses losing billions of naira. This paper pegs it at 100 billion naira monthly as petrol tanker containers occupy roads. And you know the thing with tanker operators is, you tell them to leave the roads, they decide to go on strike. They decide to drop their keys or down tools, and then there's the scarcity of fuel. Every little thing, they threaten the economy. I mean, you are a professional in the transport industry. What are the things that the government isn't doing right? You do recall that there was a time in the previous administration when Buhari was to visit Lagos, the tankers were cleared off the road.
I will give you this issue of Apapa. Last night, I have a feel of it because I didn't take my dinner. Because my wife works in Apapa.
Okay.
Left the office around 10 minutes to 4 and got home around to 8.
10 minutes to 4.
And got home around to 8.
That's about the same time it would take you from here to Ore on a normal day.
On a normal day. So on getting home, I'm like, Madam, just take your shower. I will find a way for myself. That's a typical experience. And she mentioned that they're actually fixing the road in Apapa and they had to collapse it. But you see, the level of indiscipline on the part of the tanker drivers and these truck drivers is really out of space. And I don't know, there seems to be this act of disrespectfulness on the security agency. Whether they've actually not, carry out what they are supposed to do for these people to just...
finish, actually.
Yeah, you use the language, see finish. See finish. Because if the president or even the governor is having something to do in Apapa, but rest assured, that you will not face that traffic, even with the road construction. Everybody, all hands will be on deck. And it's part of what we are saying. What is NLC doing to such? You are losing, you can see 100 billion on monthly basis. That on its own will bring unemployment, because when the companies cannot cope. So imagine someone who has spent 4 hours on the road last night, and this morning you have to go back to work. Imagine the health implication of that. So for me, there are other things we should take up the government on. Nipped it at the bud to challenge status quo. Sincerely speaking, we saw sanity in Apapa before now, because there was a time everything in Apapa collapsed. If you ask Uber to take you to Apapa, they were not going. If you ask any business person that you have an appointment there, you spend hours. But we saw the relief before this new road construction. We want a situation where the law enforcement agency will take the bull by the horn and checkmate the activities of the tanker drivers. We learn they always have a roll call. There are places, tank farm, where a tank park, where they have designated for them to park. It's high time you enforce it. Because an average businessman wants to carry out his own business. You don't use your own to stall my own business, all because you feel that you are the owner of the road. So I hold the security agency, culpable of this that we are actually facing. If a security is holding his whip, and you deal with 1, 2, 3 of them, I'm sure everybody will actually have a smooth flow of traffic in Apapa, and we need them. We cannot send them out of the road. All we need is orderliness, discipline, and we have it. Because if you ask the tanker drivers to stay off the road, you and I understand, just Monday, they said they are not lifting fuel. We are still biting the impact of what?
We're still feeling it.
Just one day. So you can imagine when they now tell you that they are
know
going.
their power, so they take advantage of it.
But the security operatives can have an understanding of how to mediate and have things done. It's orderliness. Form a lane, be on your lane, and let's move. But aside that, we need to check the functionality of some of these trucks at times, because you see some trying to climb and struggling, and all of a sudden it gets stopped. So on a road that has been collapsed for, going and coming, you now see them putting pressure on the traffic officials, the security agency, rather than having a free flow, now trying to. So we must, on our own part, check the functionality of some of these vehicles, not just having the normal inspection. Vehicles that are not motorable, we should try as much as possible, take them off the road. If there are penalties to be served, let that be done, so that you will not just be seeing vehicles just parking, because that on its own create pressure
On the road.
on the road.
The
when
quality
you have,
of the road.
yeah.
The integrity of it. All right, then let's quickly look at another paper before we wrap up the newspaper review. From the Guardian newspaper, we have a very bold headline here, the banner headline actually. Customs 5 trillion naira target threatens trade, heightens price crisis. And then a breakdown. It costs about 16, is it 16 or 15? 18, I beg your pardon. It costs about 18 million naira to clear 140 feet container, and 10 million naira to clear 120 feet container. Oh, wow. And the fact that this price just keeps fluctuating makes it even more difficult for importers to do business, to peg, their business rates. Import rates adjustment under Tinubu, May 2023 till date. There's a breakdown of it. You might need to grab this paper to look at it. Let me just give you a quick look. May 2023, 422 naira, 30 kobo to a dollar. By June, it became 589 naira to a dollar. And then in November, 783 naira. And then let's see, in February, 10th of February, it became 1,417 naira. 15th of February, 1,515 naira. And 21st, which was yesterday,
Today.
1,605 naira to $1. All right, so that's a breakdown of it. 5 banks impairment charges hit 580 billion naira in 9 months. That's 5 banks impairment charges hit 580 billion naira in 5 months. Aburi arrested in Edo as aggrieved candidates seek his prosecution. All right, and petrol queues spread nationwide as Ipman, Memon blame supply distribution. That's what we're talking about. Tanker drivers, the supply of PMS. Transcript processing saga. How not to treat alumni of modern varsities polytechnics. Tinubu gave governors 30 billion naira each to address food shortage. We saw the president of the Senate make that statement the other day. Gowon urges ECOWAS to lift sanctions against Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. And we also have Borno engages monarchs to reintegration, I beg your pardon, of repentant terrorists. Are you serious?
You're
Sorry,
right.
let me take, is that, okay, yeah, Borno.
Yes.
Borno engages monarchs on reintegration of repentant terrorists. Lack of funds force D Tigers out of Afro basket qualifiers. Unfortunate one there. And yes, these are the headlines that we have on the cover page of the Guardian newspaper. Chesa?
I think 2 topics are really attractive there. The petrol queues, I'm sure the impact on businesses, it's enormous. Before now, we are battling, trying to struggle and see how we can make ends meet. You are now compounding it with queues again. And you sure, even when you queue for hours, an average person now cannot buy more than 10,000 in his car. Before now, you won't see an SUV being, pushed on the road. But these days, because for you to fill an SUV, you'll be talking of close to 150, 120, 150,000 naira. So when you buy 10,000 into an SUV, I'm sure that car won't carry you anywhere.
In fact, these days, for fear of embarrassment, some people just avoid telling the amount they want to buy. They just give me 5 liters.
But you see, we can laugh over this, but it's quite disheartening because those days you can afford to just fill up your tank for the week. That's what I do. Sundays, just enter the filling station. Fill up
6,000 naira, you fill up
you're
your
fine.
tank.
You're fine.
You're
So
good.
you fill it up, and that can take you for a week or 2 weeks. You are ready to go. But these days, when you enter, you look at the surroundings and just whisper to the petrol attendants, 3,000.
You should be proud. It's your money. You shouldn't whisper.
My sister.
It's your sweat.
Okay. So we just feel that the government needs to do a lot. I must tell you, these things are interrelated and it's impacting from one place to the other. The issue of the custom, look at it from 422 naira per dollar to 1,605
And
per
this
dollar.
is impacting this is having an impact on
For a
importation.
country that is not producing anything locally. Nothing. Toothpick.
Does this look like a deterrent measure to curtail importation?
You
And
can
maybe encourage local
You can only do
production?
that if there are things that are produced locally. You can only do that. You can discourage importation when we have locally made goods, flooding the market and nobody is buying. So you now make it an option to say, if you want to buy the import goods, this as much as it is, but I would rather patronize the local product. But the local products are not available. If you look at the last time someone told me that the gari I'm about to buy was imported from China. And I said, excuse me. He said, Oga, this thing you can see that it's packaged. It's Ghana, it's a China gari. So,
No, you don't know. Are you serious?
for real. But you are aware that we have bread being imported into the country.
You need to get to some store and you see those things. And I asked the health implication of you. These are bread, agege bread now. You remember those days with good they were going in the morning, you are fine. But do you know the cost of, the bakers are threatening to go on strike because bread that we used to buy for 300, 400, the loaves, the family you can buy is about 2,000 plus. So how do you, so you can only create this kind of atmosphere if the local production is out there and people seems not to be patronizing. So it becomes optional for you. But as we speak, practically everything that we are getting are imported. And if this is to go by, so if you have a vehicle now, the best thing you need to do is to, protect that vehicle, possibly refurbish it. Someone was telling me, was it Kunle Afolayan? I saw him on social media saying that a Corolla of 2003 will now cost about 11 million. And I'm like, what, are you kidding me? A Corolla, the one they use for Uber, that we used to buy 1.7 million, 1.2 million, 11, 12 million. How do you manage that? But it's possible. Because, in fact, if you're saying 11 million, I feel you're underestimating me. Because if you look at the cost of duty from 422 to 1,600, so now look on all other things. The meter manufacturers are saying that they no longer want to, they can't sell at the price at which they are selling. So people yearning for meters in the power sector, the discos have actually blocked the payment platform. So you can see the implication of this increase in custom duty, which is impacting on our economy. But government needs to just be decisive. If you say free fall, the way it's falling is really impacting on us. And that's why I will end to say NLC at this time should please not consider the issue of leading the protest. Let the protest come naturally, from the people, and nobody will be held, accountable. If somebody is starting it here, the other person there, the other party there, who are you to hold? It's about hunger. But when NLC is saying we are galvanizing people together and it gets out of space, be rest assured, Joe Ajero will not be safe. It will be tagged to be another thing, because as we speak, every citizen it's angry.
Feeling the bite. All right, then. Thank you very much, Sheson Okwadi, who is a chartered tax professional and a chartered transport administrator. Now, let's get into our talking points. We're wrapping up newspaper review. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll be getting into our first story for today. But let's look at what we'll be talking about.
Okay, now we'll have to look at armed police and others raid Ibadan, a bureau de change hub that is in Sabo, over free fall of Nigerians' naira. Details and more when we return after this quick break.
When your mornings